I'm Ian, I'm Team Rector of Swanage and Studland.
I'm Angus Mayhew. I'm a curate of the Marnell and Gillingham benefices in North Dorset.
My name's Layla Mather. I am the Rector of the benefice of Changemakers, Synsford and the Chalkstream villages in sunny, windy Dorset.
So I've been in the Synod for about a year. I used to be a trustee of a school and a academy, and I missed that. And now that I'm ordained and in the clergy, I was really interested to become a member of the Synod and be involved in that process.
I think what motivates me to be involved in Synod is that I want to be involved in the discussions around the life and mission of Salisbury Diocese, and being a member of Synod enables me to do that.
I decided to stand for Synod because I felt that it was really important to represent my local community to the local church, the Diocesan Church, kind of in the sense that rural church really has a stereotype, which is that it's maybe slightly older and slightly more traditional, and people don't expect to have younger folk in the pews or in the pulpit, and I felt it was really important to be a person who could stand and say actually the rural church is more diverse than we think, and is more active and more alive than the national stereotype might allow us to believe, and so it was important for me to sort of be there and represent that voice.
What I find encouraging about being involved in the Synod is the range of topics we're asked to explore. It's a real mix of questions, so a lot of challenges, some really interesting stuff, and I've really enjoyed that. It's been a fun experience, and there's a real mix of need for response from the whole of our diocese as a geographical area.
I think what's encouraging about Synod is the courage with which people stand up and share what's going on in their communities and where their communities stand. I've seen groups of people agree to disagree really well and really generously between them, and it feels like a good place in which we can come together and share our differences and our diversity, whilst also worshipping God together and looking at the cross together.
It's been a great privilege to be involved as somebody who's only been in the diocese now a year, to be involved in discussion with many others, shaping the Making Jesus Known vision. I'm also hearing about all the great things that are going on in our churches and communities across Dorset and Wiltshire.
I think also having those relationships with people that you see on Synod mean that you can sort of spot people around the diocese at other events and build those connections and form relationships all over the sort of the full breadth of Salisbury Diocese.
I think some of the challenges being involved in Synod are that we often would like to have some more time to discuss some of the issues that come up.
So for me, the challenge in Synod is the obligation to make serious decisions about finite resources, about the desires and demands of the various parishes we have here in the diocese, and trying to get an appropriate balance around making good decisions around the future and what we need to do today.
I think one of the main difficulties actually being in Synod as a younger person in ministry is that it is really intimidating to sort of be in that space of people who are much more experienced, usually much holier people, and to share your thoughts and feelings and the thoughts and feelings of your deanery in that diocesan space. And it can be really intimidating to say, or quite scary, to stand up and ask a question or raise a point outside of your small discussion group. I think we need a greater diversity of voices on Synod, both younger and from different parts of life, walks of life rather, because we can't have decisions being made at a diocesan level that aren't being contributed to by the people that they really are going to affect in the longest term. A lot of the time we think about young people as the future of the church, but of course they are the church and part of the church. And so it's really important that we have those voices coming in and speaking at that level of decision making and discussions going into those decisions, so that that part of our church is being represented.
The Synod thrives on having a mix of voices. We have over 1 million people in the diocese. We cover over 2 counties. We have nearly 200 church schools and over 40,000 children in our schools. For us, it's really important that we are able to have a wide range of voices in Synod. Our bishop has an obligation to care for every soul within the diocese, those 1 million souls, and he delegates out to clergy to share that privilege of serving those people, whatever their background or their faith or their journey is. And we're here to serve them, and we have significant resources and budgets to be able to do that. And to make decisions around that requires a real mix of people, and it's around democratizing this mission that we're so passionate about. So if it's all the same people voting, we perhaps miss people that we should be thinking of.
It's important that we have everybody involved in Synod of all ages and all backgrounds, because together we are the body of Christ. And if a group isn't represented at Synod, then we're beggared. We're not the body of Christ. We're incomplete. So it's really important that Synod represents everybody across our diocese, from all walks of life and all ages.
There is a richness of experience and diversity in our diocese, which we really want to see within Synod. There are so many opportunities to be listened to and heard, issues and ethical decisions around environment, how we as a body enable mission and charity work to continue across our diocese is fundamental to what the Synod is.
I think that there's a whole generation of people who are younger than me who have really loud and really important voices that are deeply rooted in their faith. That they are passionate advocates for the environment and for social justice and for solving the homelessness crisis and for inclusivity in their churches and for accessibility of our church spaces that we need to hear on Synod, because sometimes when you have just a certain generation, it can turn into an echo chamber when you get people together in church meetings. And so we need those voices of people who are passionate about those things to come in and to teach us about the things they're passionate about, to teach us about how their faith finds root in those things and to help us to inform our decisions.
My hope and prayer is that we serve our communities better, making Jesus known, and across the whole of our diocese, and that our church meetings and our synods all work together to that aim, that we make Jesus known wherever God has put us.
So we have a really exciting agenda for the next few years. It covers so many different things, from ethics to environment to the way in which we consider a diverse population and how the love of Christ fits into that. That's a work of a lifetime, but in that, I believe, is some real opportunities to engage with people perhaps we've forgotten or not thought about enough.
I think that Synod is a nucleus where we can practice having the I say to the foot, I need you, and practice holding those differences between Christians, between different churches, and still committing to worship with each other. I think it's a space in which we can practice not pointing at each other, but pointing others to God. And it's a space in which, if we can come together and really worship together and really make decisions well together and talk together and learn to love one another, then we can see change in the disunity that we're currently seeing in the church around us, both sort of centrally or in London, as we sometimes like to say, but also across the whole church.
So amongst the things that you might be asked to do within Synod is to vote for things, to contribute to conversations around certain issues. You might be asked to lead a conversation in a small group and to bring that to the wider synod for voting. And that requires a certain amount of responsibility. There's really interesting paperwork that comes through on these topics, and to have a bit of passion about these things and to take on perhaps things that are really important to you, because the synod deals with so many different issues within our wide diverse diocese here.
Something like Diocesan Synod can also provide with a lot of transferable skills for life. So for example, if you've been brought up with a Christian faith and you are used to articulating what you think, Synod's a place where you're really challenged to think about why you think that way, and to make sure that you have a faith that's really deeply rooted and that is framed with integrity. So it helps you to articulate, yes, how you might disagree with people, but also to think deeply about what you believe and why you believe it.
Yes, I think joining Synod has another dimension to it. So in your own personal growth, the things that you might be looking forward to in your own life skills development, perhaps your career, actually having an involvement in an organisation like this, which has really serious budget and resourcing obligations, is really exciting. It's a real opportunity to put your hand up and to say things and to speak out for what you're really passionate about. Before ordination, I was a governor and a trustee, and I found those experiences really helpful to my own career and my own skills development. And I can see that happening here within Synod. It offers a really wide range of opportunities for people to have their voices heard. And I think those skills that it offers can be of great value and interest to people.
If you are passionate about issues facing the church and you want to see change in the Church of England and you want your voice to be heard.
If you want to be involved in shaping our diocesan mission and life, I'd really encourage you, no matter what age you are, to get involved.
Bring your voice and your perspective to Diocesan Synod.
Be a church changemaker.